Welcome to episode 2 of High Probability Opening Traps. In this video, I'll be sharing a trap you can employ as white against the Sicilian defense, a move that has caught over 26,000 players off guard. And that's not all, I have an intriguing chess puzzle in store for all of you. So make sure you stay tuned until the end for the full experience. Let's dive right in. When your opponent starts with e4, the response c5 is known as the Sicilian defense and is the most common choice against e4. The main line typically proceeds as follows: white plays knight to f3, black responds with d6, and white seizes control of the center with d4, leading to a pawn trade. Black then plays knight to f6, attacking white's e4 pawn, prompting white to develop the knight to c3. At this juncture, black has three common moves to consider: a6, g6, and knight to c6. For this trap, we'll focus on the move knight to c6. Here, you play bishop to c4, aligning your bishop on the f7 square. If black doesn't address this threat and opts for the seemingly casual g6 move, they will find themselves in significant trouble. Remarkably, g6 is the second most frequently played move in this position, having been played over 26,000 times. However, it's essential to note that this move is detrimental to black and puts them on the back foot right from the start. Before I reveal the next move in this trap, it's crucial to keep in mind that when black opts for the Sicilian defense, their ideal plan often involves an early kingside castling to get their king out of the center. However, if white can open up the center and eliminate some central pawns while also castling early themselves, it can pose a significant threat to black's king in the center. This strategic context is essential as I introduce the next line. So, when black makes the mistake of playing g6 in response to our earlier move, what we can do is capture the knight on c6, initiating a trade of knights. Following this, we play pawn to e5. This move is particularly potent because it aligns with the strategy one mentioned earlier. By opening up the center before black has the chance to castle kingside, we create a situation where black's king becomes vulnerable. The key point of this trap is that even though our e5 pawn appears undefended, black cannot capture it without facing immediate consequences. Indeed, if black chooses to capture the e5 pawn, take a moment to consider white's next move. If you've identified the move bishop takes f7 check, you're absolutely correct. This move involves sacrificing the bishop, but it's a powerful tactical blow. Here's the idea: our queen is aligned with black's queen on f7, so when black captures our bishop, which is their only sensible move, we simply take their queen for free. This crafty maneuver makes it impossible for black to take our pawn, forcing them into a precarious position. Black typically responds to this threat in two common ways: knight to d7 and knight to g4. If black chooses knight to d7, you should capture d6, and after black recaptures, you can proceed to castle kingside. This setup puts pressure on black, as they usually want to ensure their king's safety before the center gets exposed. In this position, black hasn't had the chance to castle yet, and you are poised to bring your rook into the game, targeting black's vulnerable king. This situation is why this line is highly disadvantageous for black. As an example, suppose black opts for bishop to g7 and attempts to castle kingside. In response, you can play rook to e1, delivering a check. Remember that you cannot castle when your king is in check, so this move rules out castling for black. The only viable options for black are trying to block the check with a knight or a bishop. However, if black places a knight or bishop to block the check, you can play f4, attacking the blocking piece. Due to the pin, you will win a piece in the next move by capturing it with your pawn. Alternatively, black might consider moving their king to f8, but this also leads to trouble. You can capture it on d6 with your queen, and after black's king moves to e7, you can play rook to e1, putting immense pressure on black's position. The pinned knight cannot move, and black faces multiple threats that are challenging to address. This situation leaves black in a highly disadvantageous position. Now, returning to the position where black anticipates the rook to e1 check and plays bishop to e7 to preemptively block it, you can further restrict black's options. To prevent black from castling and escaping the center, play bishop to h6, covering the f8 square. It's essential to note that castling is not allowed if the squares the king passes through or lands on are under attack. With the f8 square covered by your bishop, black's king remains trapped in the center, worsening the difficulties in this position. Now, let's discuss the next move in this trap, rook to e1, aligning the rook with the exposed black king. At this point, black is in a difficult position with limited good moves. For instance, if black attempts to develop a piece with something like bishop to b7, you can simply play rook to e1, pinning the bishop. Now, if black decides to move their pawn to d5, you can respond with queen to e2, ignoring the threat and letting black capture your bishop. After that, follow up with rook to d1, putting immense pressure on black's position. In this scenario, you'll notice that black struggles to find useful moves. The pinned bishop can't move, the queen is occupied protecting the bishop due to the double attack, the knight is pinned due to the rook, and the king can neither castle nor make any beneficial moves. Both rooks lack meaningful prospects, and black's pieces are tied down. Your next moves can include knight to e4, followed by knight to d6, leading to a smothered checkmate if black doesn't prevent it. Additionally, you might consider bishop to g5, adding a third piece to the pressure on the pinned bishop on e7. Overall, black finds themselves in an extremely unfavorable position. Returning to the scenario where black plays knight to g4, you can respond by playing bishop to f4. It's crucial to remember that black still cannot capture the e5 pawn, otherwise, you have the same tactic we discussed earlier, bishop takes f7 check, winning black's queen. If black tries something like bishop to g7, a standard developing move, the d6 pawn is no longer defended by the bishop, allowing you to capture it. Following the exchanges, you will be up a pawn with 6 pawns to black's 5. Furthermore, you will have both rooks poised to target black's king, and black will be unable to castle due to your bishop covering the f8 square. I hope you found this episode enlightening. Stay tuned for episode 3, coming soon. Now, it's time for a puzzle. In the given position, it's white's turn, and you need to find the best move for white. Share your answers in the comments, and let's see how many of you can solve it correctly. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with future videos. Take a moment to check out the other videos appearing on your screen right now. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care and peace.